Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to No DQ&A video right here on NoDQ.com, as well as the YouTube channel and No DQ&A videos affiliate, ringsidenews.com. Got your questions here from spring.me/Aaron Rift. And just as a reminder, please do not send me questions through Facebook or Twitter. I only answer questions from spring.me/Aaron Rift. Thank you for that, and let's get started here with the first one today from Aaron Rift Guy. Hey Aaron, now I guess you have seen the Steve Austin podcast on the WWE Network for just $9.99. What was your overall opinion? I did watch the podcast and I thought it was a very entertaining hour of television. I felt that it was a solid discussion between two great minds, lots of insight. Paul Heyman was tremendous as usual, and Steve Austin did a great job hosting, as he does every interview. Great interviewer. I really enjoyed it. I love the stories that Paul Heyman told about Vince Sr., Captain Lou Albano, Rick Rude. I would definitely recommend checking out the podcast. I'm sure most of you have watched it already. If you haven't, you should do it now. But actually, you should finish watching No DQ&A video first, then check it out. Speaking of the Steve Austin podcast, got this one from TravJC27. Hey broski, just watched the Stone Cold podcast. What are your thoughts on a possible Beast versus Rattlesnake match? Absolute money if they want to sell out WrestleMania, but I just don't know if their styles will match in the ring. Well, that is definitely a concern because Brock Lesnar is very intense, and some might feel that Austin is better off going against a guy who will work a little bit lighter and protect him more. But then again, Steve Austin is the type of guy that is going to want to have an intense match. He's going to want to come back and have a match that people would expect from the old Stone Cold Steve Austin. He doesn't want to go out there and be 90% Stone Cold. He wants to be 100%. He wants to go out there and have as intense of a match as possible. Hence, bring up the idea of a Texas death match, because that's the type of match people would want to expect. They would want to see the fight of all fights. And only one person knows if Steve Austin's going to get back in the ring or not, and that's Steve Austin. It's all going to come down to how he feels personally, if he feels that he can go out there and give people what they want to see, and that's the old Stone Cold Steve Austin. And I do feel that it is at least in the realm of possibility, the fact that they would even tease a match for WrestleMania 32 means that at least Steve Austin is taking it under consideration. And he's definitely not doing it for the money if he comes back. It's all about being able to come back and do something historic, break records, draw 100,000 people for WrestleMania 32. Get more people watching WrestleMania than ever before. That would be the main reason for Steve Austin to come back and just be able to come out there and steal the show and tear the house down. But it's going to depend on him and how he feels mentally and physically. And it's still not a guarantee. And the fact that Jim Ross, who's a close friend of Steve Austin's, has publicly said that he still feels it's maybe a 35% chance at best. I mean, it's all up in the air, and anything can happen between now and WrestleMania 32. And, Steve Austin could change his mind 100 times between now and, say, October, November, when the time would come to really make a final decision, because obviously he would have to prepare and get himself ready for the match if he decides to do it. All right, this next one comes from Kane Yo-Yo for the win. Hey Aaron, what did you think of the 6-man tag team match with the Primetime Players and Dolph Ziggler versus The New Day? I really thought the Primetime Players put on a good show here and may possibly get a small push. Your thoughts, please answer in video, thanks. Well, I do feel that I was a bit harsh towards the Primetime Players on the Extreme Rules review video that I did with Jeff Meacham. I will say this, they have not really been given much of an opportunity. They were a tag team, and then Darren Young got hurt. He recently came back, and the team was reformed. They haven't really done much since Darren Young came back. They've done a few vignettes and promos, which to me, they've come off as filler. And the entertainment segments that they've done over the past few years, I personally have not been blown away by. I remember that Pancake Patterson, whatever the hell he was doing during that segment with John Cena. I thought it was a terrible segment. I didn't think it was funny or entertaining. But that's just my personal opinion. As far as their in-ring work, I will say this. On Raw this week, I felt it was a good match. I felt that Titus O'Neil did have some fire at the end. And it is expected that they will get a small push. Don't know if it's going to amount to anything, but I'm all for them being given an opportunity. And I'm guessing that they'll have the match with New Day at Money in the Bank. I'm not expecting them to win the titles or anything, but if they have a good showing at the pay-per-view, maybe WWE will continue to push them. I mean, time will tell, but I'm all for them getting another chance and getting a chance to shine. And, the vignettes and the promos, at some point you got to actually let them get in the ring and show what they can do. All right, this one comes from Creature13. What are your thoughts on WWE doing another free month on the network? Well, I think people have overreacted to this a little bit. You have to keep in mind that Netflix offers a free month to new subscribers, and this is something that they do year-round. They're always offering a free first month so people can try it out, and if they don't like it, they can cancel, and they won't get charged for a month. This is very typical for many businesses, and Netflix does it, Hulu does it, so I totally understand WWE doing this. And I think most of the frustration comes from long-time subscribers, people that have subscribed from day one and they have paid the $9.99 every single month. But WWE is trying to draw in people that are not subscribed. They're trying to draw in the more casual viewers and trying to give them a reason to sample the network and then hopefully stick with it. So, WWE has done a few things for the people that have been long-term subscribers, although here's the thing. I got a $25 gift card or credit towards WWEshop.com, but from what I've heard, there are a lot of people that did not get that credit despite being subscribers from day one. So I'm not really sure what's going on with that, why some people got it, why some people didn't. But I definitely think it would be a nice gesture from WWE to offer something to the people that have subscribed since day one, the really loyal subscribers, and give them a free month or give them a gift card or whatever. I think that would be a nice thing to do every now and then, just to make sure your core fan base is happy. All right, this one comes from Swag Dick Charles. Hey Aaron, love No DQ&A video, been around since the early 200s, but I'm new to Spring.me. I just want to know if you have seen my questions. Don't care about video answers. Do you think Colt Cabana or Chris Hero will get another shot in WWE? Thanks. Well, hopefully you're watching this video so you will hear your question answered. Regarding Colt Cabana and Chris Hero, I doubt it for both guys. With Colt Cabana, he's good buddies with CM Punk, and I think WWE has a negative attitude towards him because of the podcast with CM Punk, and I think there might be some hard feelings there. I think that that's going to hurt his chances of coming back. With Chris Hero, I've seen pictures and video of him in recent months, and it looks like he gained back a lot of the weight that he lost when he went into WWE and NXT. So I feel like mentally he has given up on that idea of being a WWE superstar, but never say never. Maybe he'll get another shot down the line. But the fact that he was there and they passed on him, I feel that it's just not going to work out between him and WWE. And some guys, it works out. Sometimes it doesn't. I mean, that's just the way it is. All right, this one comes from CM Spunk. Hey, Aaron, how come WWE has announced a Raw tour in Australia in August and are advertising Rollins versus Orton for the WWE title and Cena versus Sheamus for the US title? It's almost like they are telling us in advance that Rollins and Cena will retain at Elimination Chamber. This is actually a dated question. Rarely do I answer dated questions on here, but I'll go ahead and answer this one just in general. It doesn't really mean anything, these lineups being announced in advance. Sometimes it can mean something, like when Batista was being advertised prior to his return being announced, but usually you have to just take the approach that the card is subject to change. Sometimes things happen and title matches are changed, and these lineups are announced with the current champions. So if there's a show happening in September, right now it's going to be advertised as John Cena defending the U.S. title because currently he's the U.S. champion. Doesn't mean necessarily that he's going to be the U.S. champion come September. So you have to take it with a grain of salt. Every once in a while it does mean something, but most of the time it's just, that's the process. Whoever's a champion, they're listed in the advertisements as champion. All right, got this one here from Tony D. Helms 29624. Does Booker T have something against Renee Young? In almost every pre-show, he has always had his back to her and gives off this vibe that he doesn't like her. I honestly have no idea. I didn't even notice that. But if you really want to know, I would suggest asking Booker T or Renee Young on Twitter. If I had to speculate and guess on it, and this is just guesswork on my part, maybe Booker T just doesn't feel comfortable interacting with people of the opposite sex on television. When you look at how things go in the business where people work together on television and next thing you know, they're a couple in real life, maybe he just doesn't feel comfortable. I mean, that's a possibility, but then again, I don't know. You would have to ask them. All right, this one comes from CM Who. I was always under the impression that the champion should come out last. I know WWE has been doing this for years, but it has always bothered me. Do you think WWE does this on purpose, or do they just don't care? By the way, keep up the great work. Well, thank you for that. I feel that in general, it's better for the champion to come out last. The champion is supposed to be the best guy in the company, and he's supposed to be the representative of the company. So I feel it does more for the championship for the champion to come out last. But sometimes you can make an exception. If the baby face is your top star, sometimes you can make an argument for it. Example, WrestleMania 5, Hulk Hogan versus Savage. Hogan came out last. Hogan is the face of the company after all. And sometimes if you have a retirement match, you can have the challenger who's a babyface come out last. It just depends on the situation. But for the most part, I think it's best to have the champion come out last, whether it's a face or a heel. And I got one more question here. Hey, Aaron, I've got a quick question for you. If Vince McMahon loves big guys, why did he have Eddie Guerrero win the most prestigious title in wrestling history? Well, there's always an exception to the rule. And with Eddie Guerrero, he got over despite not being your typical guy that Vince McMahon likes to push, your typical big muscular guy. Eddie Guerrero, he beat the odds, and not a lot of people can do that. He rose to the top in WWE just on pure ability and just being able to entertain people as only he could. And that's how he made it to the top. And same thing with Benoit. It was just pure talent and ability and drive and passion, all those things adding up. And that's how Chris Benoit was able to become a world champion despite not being the prototype for your WWE main event champion superstar. Benoit overcame the odds. Guerrero did it. Daniel Bryan did it. It's been done. It can be done. You just don't have it handed to you. You don't have it quite as easy as some of those other guys that, Vince takes one look at him and he goes head over heels for them and says, that's the guy right there that should be the main eventer. These other guys, they really had to work extra hard to prove Vince wrong. So that'll do it for this edition of No DQ&A video. Thanks as always for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, please share it on Facebook or Twitter or any social media website. Anybody you know who watches wrestling, have them check out No DQ&A video. And stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest in WWE and TNA. I'll see you guys next time.